Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kay Renessa.
Good morning, sir.
We will start at 10:15. We will wait for the others.
Mga may periodic table dyan, pwede ninyong kunin para may reference kayo. Bakit ba ako nag-Filipino? Sandali nga. For those students who have their periodic table, please get it. You can actually use that during our discussion. Okay, tayo magsisimula na. Okay, by the way, good morning, children.
Morning, sir.
Okay, children, good morning. For this morning, we will be discussing periodic table. No, this is again not a very comprehensive discussion on periodic table, but at least this will give you an idea what is or what are the contents of your periodic table and how do we interpret and comprehend our periodic table. No, sir, why are you discussing periodic table? Is this part of the curriculum, elementary science curriculum? Probably not. But then again, it could actually give you wide range of idea when it comes to chemistry. No, mas mapalawig pa yung ideya ninyo when it comes to the concept of chemistry because of our periodic table. Okay? And for those who have questions, please take note of your questions. You may either type it sa chat box natin or you can take it down sa notes ninyo and then you can ask it siguro during our Q&A portion. Okay? Sige, let's start. This would be periodic table. Okay. Organizing the elements. Okay. The reason why we have our, excuse me. Hello, ma'am. Sa Globe, ano po? Ay, ma'am, wala pa, ma'am. Ma'am, nag-klase pa po ako. Pero hindi ko pinag-is. Matatapos pa po yung mga 11:30 po. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Sige, ma'am. Bye po. Okay. So yun, the reason why, if you're going to look at your periodic table, it is actually arranged in a particular manner. So ano po yung arrangement, sir? Ano po ba? Since yung hydrogen po ba is meron siyang atomic number 1, yung helium po ba meron siyang atomic number 2, yung lithium po ba meron siyang atomic number 3. Ito po ba ay arrangement ng kung ano yung unang elemento yung na-discover. No, it's actually not, no. The arrangement of your periodic table is actually based, and the purpose of that is for organizing and classifying the collection of the elements, no. Organizing, naka-organize siya in a particular manner, and it is also classified by some considerations and by some factors. Okay. Most important tool that chemists use to remember chemical facts. This is actually true, no? Because for us really to understand our elements, we have to understand the organization of your elements. We have to understand the arrangement of your elements because if you understand the arrangement of your elements, you can actually understand no kung ano yung characteristics ng element. Kasi ang punto ng periodic table natin is all about the characteristics of your elements. Okay? So that is why your periodic table here is considered to be hi. Yes, kanila. Isisend ko. Hindi pa nag-submit yung from IIT ng letter. I'm still waiting. Hindi pa siya nag-send. I-remind ko siya ngayon. Isisend ko din. Wait, isend ko lang sa messenger. Hindi, paano ba yun? Kung yun, hindi pa siya nagbigay ng letter. Sabihan ko lang sa mamaya. Ha? After. Okay, so that is the most important tool that chemists use. Sorry for that, no? Used to remember chemical facts. Actually, yung pag chemistry major ka talaga, I think that is imperative, no, for you really to not just understand the content of your periodic table, but also to memorize the content of your periodic table. Now, we really have to memorize that. During my college years, kasi nga during my high school years, sa lahat ng sciences, ito lang chemistry yung kinakatakutan ko. I really don't like chemistry. Siguro because of the fact that yung the concepts of chemistry are very vague. Ibig sabihin ng vague, hindi klaro for me, no? And at the same time, para siyang art na napaka-abstract. Napaka-abstract in a sense na hindi ko siya maintindihan kasi nga hindi ko siya nakikita. Okay? But during my college years, nabago yun kasi nga I really love my chemistry teacher. The way she explained the concept of chemistry ay sobrang napakaganda. That is why meron talagang portion ng pagka-biology major ko na I really wanted to shift into chemistry, no? Because I really love it. Although it's very abstract, but then again, I so love it. Nakapag-decide ako na hindi mag-shift din ng chemistry kasi when you are also a biology major, you really have to indulge yourself to chemistry. Kasi nakapartner kasi yung biology at saka chemistry. Meron talaga yung mutualistic na relationship. So as for us, although we are not chemistry majors, but we really have to understand at some point memorize the content of the periodic table. Okay. Next, chemists use the properties of elements to sort them into groups. Yun nga, each element, I would like to remind everyone, each element meron siyang unique characteristics. Because of that unique characteristics or meron siyang characteristics, because of those characteristics, ito yung rason bakit naging grupo. Meron tayong tinatawag na classification of elements, kumbaga. Kasi nga, nakagrupo yung the same characteristics at saka yung ibang characteristics, they have their also their group. Okay, napaka-importante yan. Dapat alam natin yung properties at saka characteristics ng elements for us really to understand how that particular element behave in a manner. Okay. Next, the development of your periodic table and uh, how this is arranged and paano ito na-discover, no? Parang ganyan yung arrangement niya. By the 1780s, chemists wondered why some elements such as oxygen were gases while others such as gold were metals. No? During the 1780s now, they really wondered why there are things like gases, why are there are metals, no? Why oxygen is a gas and why gold is a metal, somewhat like that, no? Ano yung problema? Ano yung characteristics, no? Bakit meron silang kaibahan at some point? By the 1860s, the list of known elements had grown to 63 elements. It was unknown whether there were hundreds or even thousands more of these elements that were yet to be discovered. If you are to look at our periodic table, kung titignan nyo yan, meron sa babang parte ng inyong periodic table, meron siyang parang tinatawag nating bakante. No? Bakante yan kasi uh, they are yet to be discovered. Pero as of the moment, I think, meron ng mga bakante doon na meron ng nailagay na element, no, bagong discover. Ang ginawa kasi ng mga scientists, no, or the chemists or physicists, what they did is that they used a particular element, no, an existing element, and then what they did now is they used this particular existing element and to come up with another type of element, somewhat like that, no? So nakakuha sila og mga element. Sir, paano po pinangalanan yung element natin? Nakadepende yan sa nakadiscover, no? Kung ako yung nakadiscover, pwedeng ipangalan sa akin Fernandisium, or pwede ding ipangalan kung saan ako nag nagtatrabaho, Marawisium, somewhat like that, or Iligansium. Hadlok ba ng mga pangalang na mga elemento, mga element na di maayo, no? Okay. So kana siya nga mga pwede siya i-consider the name of the name of the person who discovered that element, or kung asa na siya na discover. Okay. Many chemists continue to search for a unifying pattern among the elements. Yes, and up until now, they have this, they really check the characteristics, especially sa mga bagong uh, elements na discover. Dapat alam nila kung ano yung properties at saka characteristics ng ating element para naman masort din sila, no? Mailagay din sila sa tamang paglalagyan. Okay. In 1867, Russian chemist and teacher Dmitry Mendeleev, no, because Russian man siya, so gahi kayo ang pagka-pronounce. Dmitry Mendeleev, hindi siya Mendeleev. No? Okay. Dmitry Mendeleev, sobraan kayo pagka-pronounce. Found the pattern scientists have been looking for. So ito yun kasi nga gusto ng mga scientists na siguro kailangan nating i-grupo yung tinatawag nating elements. Siguro may pattern itong tinatawag nating elements. So the one who discovered that is a Russian chemist and teacher, Dmitry Mendeleev. I remember Dmitry Mendeleev was actually the father of classical chemistry. No? Siya yung father of classical chemistry kasi yes, Najma, you're raising your hand. Sino yung nag-raise ng hand? Najma,
Sir?
nag-raise ka ng hand. May concern?
Wala po sir, napindot po. Sorry.
Pindot lang. Okay lang, dear. Okay. So, that is why kung titingnan natin yung libro, especially sa libro namin ni Ma'am Lian nung panahon namin, nung nag-high school kami, makikita namin doon na sikat si Dimitri kasi nga siya yung tinatawag na father of classical chemistry. Meron kasing bagong father na din yung the, 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 the new era of chemistry. No? Okay. This is Sir Dmitry Mendeleev. He gathered information based on properties such as estimates of the mass of the atoms of each element. So kinuha niya yung mass ng atoms, no, ng taga-element. Kinuha din niya yung color, yung density, the melting point, and what each element did or did not react with. So ito yung parang ginawa ni Dmitry Mendeleev to categorize and then group your elements. So again, based on the mass of the atom, based in the color, siguro lahat ng yellow dito nakalagay, no? Ang yung density din, siguro ito yung arrangement ng density. Yung melting point, ito din yung arrangement ng melting point. And then what each element did or did not act with. Remember that our elements can react to another element, nakadepende sa nature. Okay? Again, if you have questions, please write it down, no? Kung merong walang naintindihan. Kasi maraming essay itong ano natin. So pag nakakaiwa na sabtan na niro na, bantay lang dyan niro. So Mendeleev then sorted the cards into rows and columns based on similarities in the elements' properties. Now, meron ng arrangement din si Mendeleev, no? Gumawa siya ng rows and then columns, and then nakagrupo yung mga merong similar na properties. So yun yung ginawa niya. Ito yung card ni Dimitri. Of course, yung nasa taas, that is in Russia, no? Please take note that some of the arrangement na yan ay totoo. Like for example, hydrogen has an atomic number 1. Okay? Meron tayong hydrogen dito. We have lithium 7. Oh, this is wrong siya. There is a lithium. Kaya lithium atomic number 3 man good. We have beryllium. During this time, dagan-dagan na. Let's try to enumerate. We have beryllium. Nakikita naman? Klaro ba yung mga letra?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so we have beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. We also have magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, calcium. We have ER pa naka-question mark ito. Itong mga naka-question mark, parang hindi hindi siya gaanong ano ba, hindi pa niya gaanong nakukuha yung properties, hindi pa siya klaro kaya naka-question mark siya. Okay. Najma, yes, don't worry, my dear, because the session is being recorded. So I will be uploading this one sa YouTube ko at the same time sa Google Classroom para mabalikan ng lahat. No? So wag mapanghinaan ng loob yung mga hindi gaano nakakapasok at saka hindi gaano akong marinig, no? Because this is a recorded session. Okay. And then we also have tellurium, we have V here, we have chromium, I think, we have manganese, we have iron, and so on. Okay. Ang dami na during this time. So meron pang nakabakante dito kasi parang alam niya na meron pa at some point, meron pang mailalagay dito. At tama talaga si Mendeleev. Sir, yung mga classifications ba, yung mga properties ba na naisip ni Dimitri ay up until now ginamit pa ba din? Yes, ginagamit pa rin. No? Ito yung mga properties na kinukonsidera to classify and to group our elements. So based kung sino ba yung mas mabigat, ano yung kulay, ano yung density, ano yung melting point. Kaya nga if nakakakita ka ng periodic table of the elements, you would notice na maraming legend, no? Marami nakalagay na melting point, boiling point, temperature, parang ganyan. Kasi ito yung mga properties na ginamit para malaman kung ano yung dapat igrupo sa grupong ito. Okay? Next, in Mendeleev's table, all the cards representing metals ended up on one side. So, lahat daw ng metals on this side, and then the non-metals are on the other side. And then yung tinatawag nating metalloids were placed in the middle. Ano yung metalloids, by the way? Gamitin ko namang whiteboard yung chat natin. Ano yung metalloids? We have metals.
Semi-metal po, sir.
Almira?
Sir?
Metal po. Pwedeng
Again, Almira, ano yan? Metalloids are?
metals, pwedeng metal at saka
Very good, no? Pwedeng metal at saka non-metals. Ang ibig sabihin, metalloids are elements that can exist, no? Or they have the properties or they exhibited. Susulat ko sa ating whiteboard. Itong whiteboard na ito ay napakamahal. Galing pa ito ng France, no? Metalloids are elements that exhibit both the characteristics of metal and a non-metal. Sulat ko sa ating whiteboard. Okay. Ayan. Very good, no? Next, most of the elements that were gases at room temperature were grouped together. Nakagrupo din yung gases in room temperature. Like for example, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen. So they are gases at room temperature. Sorry. He grouped sodium, lithium, and other metals that reacted violently with water together. Sodium, lithium, those are actually metals, no? And they are very reactive if you are to add it with water. Your sodium and lithium, nakagrupo po sila. Okay. Next, he left gaps in his table if he could not find an element with the right properties to put in a column. Kaya nga meron kayo nakitang mga bakante dito, no? Kasi hindi niya alam kung ano yung dapat ilagay kasi parang hindi niya gaano alam yung characteristics ng particular element. So, possibly, and of course, this is a possibility of an unfound element, and that is true. Okay. By the way, there's particular card here, although this is not the original card, no? That particular card na nakikita ninyo sa ating screen ay ito yung card yun sa kwarto ni Dmitry Mendeleev. And it is believed, children, that if you will go to Russia and then you will find the balay of Dmitry, makikita ninyo doon sa kanyang lamesa. Kasi nga yung lamesa niya or actually yung I think ang buong arrangement ng kwarto ni Dmitry Mendeleev ay nakapreserve siya mura siyang nahimo ng museum. No, gi-preserve siya kung unsa gitong last na arrangement na namatay si Sir Dimitri. Ito din yung arrangement ng kanyang kwarto. So hindi iniba. No, kaya doon nakita itong card na ito sa table niya. Na ginagawa niya pala itong arrangement ng ating periodic table or yung elements natin. Okay. Next, so this is now the modern periodic table. So that is it, no, if you're going to look at. So the periodic table is a chart that places all of the elements in rows and columns. So meron tayong, pag sinabi man natin rows, ano yan? Vertical or horizontal? Rows. Ano yung rows natin? Ano yan? Horizontal part or vertical yan? O karon, wakabalog ro, bantay lang gini mga balbal ron. Ato mahinumduman man gud sa una sa elementary kay row 1, row 2, row 3, no? Pirtig yung sayo pa sa pag-ingon sa maestra kay na row 1, row 2, row 3 man. Hmm. That is why ako
Vertical.
din, ako din may problema ako sa row at saka column nung ano ba, nung nag-college ako. I cannot understand it kasi yung nasa kokote ko kasi yung sinabi ni teacher no na row 1, row 2, row 3. Because rows are ano yung position ng row? Horizontal, vertical?
Horizontal, sir.
Yes, that is in
Horizontal.
horizontal, children. Horizontal ng row ha, which is different sa sinabi. Di ba yung teacher niyo sinabi din na row 1, row 2, no? Na vertical? Tama ba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh. So, doon tayo, yun yung problema ko din. We have the same thoughts, no? Yung columns natin, ayun yung vertical, no? Naka-vertical. So, para maintindihan ng lahat, yung rows ay yung sa predictable natin. Mahanap nga ako ng predictable dito. Sandali lang. Ito. Tingnan natin. Nakikita naman yung predictable, no? Ang laki niyan. Okay. Yung rows natin, ito yung rows natin, yung paganyan. Okay? Yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ito yung rows. At saka yung columns naman, ito yung 1A, 2A, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7, and up to 8A. Okay? Ito yung columns natin, naka-vertical. Naintindihan? Naintindihan?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Sige.
sir.
Sulat natin yan, no? Para sulat natin sa whiteboard natin. Okay. Sige. So elements are listed from left to right and top to bottom according to a property called atomic number. So dito natin, again, ang sabi doon, elements daw are listed from left to right and top to bottom according to a property called atomic number. So, meaning to say, your elements are arranged in a particular manner. So, yung una, atomic number. So, ano pong ibig sabihin, sir? Ang ibig sabihin, yung arrangement, kung titingnan natin yung arrangement ng ating uh, periodic table of elements, ito yon. Sundan nyo ko, no? Ito yung arrangement, ha? Please, uh, klaro ba yung boses ko dyan? Klaro ba?
Yes po, sir.
Klaro,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, sige. Sundan nyo ko. Ito yung arrangement ng ating predictable. Ito yung sinasabi sa presentation na uh, are listed from left to right and then top to bottom according to a property called atomic number. Alam natin na yung atomic number sa predictable na ito, alam natin na ang atomic number ay nasa itaas ng kahon, sa loob ng kahon, nasa taas ng element symbol. Tama? Nakikita ba?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Therefore, the arrangement is like this. Hydrogen, helium. So left hydrogen, to the right helium. Next, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium. O, kung titingnan ninyo, from left to right, top to bottom, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. Nakuha? Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ito
Yes,
yung ibig
Yes,
sir.
sabihin.
sir.
Very good children. Mga bright ni mga bata, flat one, giniron. Magundang tagklase, flat one tanan. No? Okay. Sige. So, ito yung ibig sabihin ha, from left to right,
Mami.
top to bottom. Okay. And then, if you are to notice mga anak, you would notice that the atomic number is increasing. No? Hydrogen, 1, yung atomic number. Helium, 2, atomic number. Lithium, 3, atomic number. Beryllium, 4, boron, 5, carbon, 6, nitrogen, 7, oxygen, 8, fluorine, 9, neon, 10. So nag-increase gid siya, nag-increase ang atomic number from left to right. Gusto kong isulat ninyo ito because our next lesson would be periodic trends, no? Again, the atomic number is increasing from left to right, top to bottom ang iyang pag-increase. Okay. So, saan po dyan ang top to bottom? O, tingnan ninyo. Ang hydrogen, 1. Lithium, 3. Sodium, 11. O, di ba nag-increase? So, nag-increase ang atomic number from top to bottom. From left to right. Naintindihan?
Yes, sir.
Naintindihan?
Apo, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Mutingog ha, kaya ang uban diya na natulog na, pwede yung dulay diya, nagtulo ng laway. Tingog yun in town, tingog. Sige, next. Okay. Of course, our elements, they actually not just existed on the outside in the physical environment, but it also exists sa human body. And we call it the elements of life, no? Of course, we all know that our body is mainly composed of what we call the building block elements, no? Ito nasa taas. Ito yung elements na nakakompose sa atin. Meron tayong oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen. Sir, bakit po yung sulat ko sa chat, bakit po yung chon? Yung tinatawag namin yan na chon, no? Because when we say chon, that is carbon, hydrogen, ba't na ko sa whiteboard ha? Hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So, muna siyang gitawag na to nga chon. Sir, asa din ang chon na gitawag na to, sir? Bakit tinawag siyang building block elements? Remember, our body is made up of the four macromolecules. When we say macro, ano ibig sabihin ng macro? Ano ibig sabihin ng macro? Ano kaya? Sana ba itong mga batang ito? Ano yung tinatawag na macro? What do you mean by macro? Norodin. And Shane. Almira. Ano yung macro? Ano ibig sabihin ng macro? Mayroong micro, mayroon ding macro. Ano
Um,
kaya yan?
Large
Yes,
scale.
Hafsa.
very large po, sir.
Large, no? Pag sinasabing macro, large. Yes, Jehan. When we say macro, large, meaning to say, our body is made up of the four large molecules. Ito yung sinasabi kong four macromolecules. And what are the four macromolecules? What are the four macromolecules?
The chon, sir. Yung
Yes,
oxygen,
Anetra.
carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen.
Yung macromolecules. There are four macromolecules. Now, we have again, we have four elements, no? These elements ang tinatawag natin na chon, no? So itong chon na ito, nag-combining chon to make your four macromolecules. So nag-combine itong carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen to create the four macromolecules. And what are they? They are carbohydrates.
Lipids.
Very good. We have lipids or fat.
Proteins.
Very good.
Proteins.
Very good. We have protein. What else? The last one?
Nucleic acid.
Very good. Nucleic acid. Ah, okay, flat one. Flat one. Time sa dabi flat one. Okay, flat one. Sige. So those are the four macromolecules. And then, sir, ano po yung macromolecules? Remember, ang sabi nila, our body daw or the a human is mostly made up of protein. No protein. Sir, anong protein man, sir? Kay we believe that the largest external organ is our skin. And skin basically is made up of protein. Somewhat like that. So that is why they told us, or some of our teachers, science teachers, that is actually basic na pag yun siya underlying reason. But one of the reasons why protein is considered to be the largest macromolecule part siguro sa kuan, it is because we actually made up of more on protein, no? Our muscles, our skin, our hormones, no, kanang mga hormones nato pag dugon ang mga babae kay sa puton kunuhay, those are actually part of protein, no, hormones, enzymes, no, the reason why if you eat lechong baka, the lechong baka will be digested to your tiyan because of enzymes, and enzymes are part of protein. Okay, so those are our four macromolecules. And if you're going to search that sa internet, mga anak, you would notice that the chemical formula of carbohydrates, lipids, protein, and nucleic acid ay naglalaro sa tinatawag natin na building block elements, which are oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, and nitrogen, or we call it the chon. Okay? So yun yung nag-make up sa tinatawag nating four macromolecules. Okay, that's it. Next, classes are grouped in periodic table. So titingnan natin yung mga grupo, no, or mga classes in our periodic table. Of course, kitang-kita that there are three classes of elements in our periodic table. Mainly, those are metals. So kung titingnan natin children, our metals are situated on this place. No? Kana sila, metals na siya. And then our non-metals are on this side. Okay. Non-metals yan sila. And then, itong nasa hagdanan na part na ito ay tinatawag natin na metalloids, no? Yung definition natin sa metalloids na these are the elements that exhibit the property of both metal and the non-metal. So, kini silang imuhang, kung imo ning tanaw ng pattern sa tong metalloid diri, and then imo na siyang tanaw sa imong predictable, makakita ka kung unsa da itong mga gitawag nato nga metalloids. Okay. Next. Okay, what are the properties of metal? Let's just run through, no? Of course, ang atong mga metals, they are good conductors. They are conductors of heat. Ako lang dito tanan. Okay. Properties of metals, they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Di ba, kana ato ang mga metal, kana magunit kag kutsara, metal man yun ang siya. Then ato nang siyang ikuta sa to ang kape. Later on, we will notice that muinit ang ato ang kutsara. No? And then most of them, they are shiny. Shiny ba ato mga metals?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No? Shiny ato mga metals.
Yes,
No?
sir.
Especially na ng ato ang mga kanag yung sa mga gabi, kaya nga alam ko talaga na yung mga maranaw na mayaman talaga yan kasi ano yan, marami yung mga singsing, maraming mga ganyan, no? Di ba? Mayaman talaga. So you would notice may
Sana
pag-gold
all,
pa yan.
sir.
Sana all mayaman. O di ba?
Maraming gold.
O maraming gold yon, Nefa, tama. Maraming gold. Kung titingnan natin yung gold, di ba? Very shiny. Mayaman. And then of course, they are very ductile. Ang ibig sabihin ng ductile can be stretched into thin wires. Ibig sabihin, pwede yung i-stretch natin literally, no? And then pwede natin siyang gawing magiging wire. Sir, bakit po yung metals natin pwede pong maging wire? Remember that our metals are good conductors of electricity. Therefore, sino din yung pwede natin gamitin as wire? Ano ba? Yung mga bronze, kanang mga bronze natin, mga metals nato, mga alloys, no, gipang sa moang lugar ana, kanang mga bronze diha, matingala na lang mi nga wa na mi kuryente taon-taon kay Na-shock na lang mi dira nga among kuryente kay gigunting na, no? Kay gikawatan mi og wire, no? So kung makadungog mo ana nga hala gikawat ang wire sa silingan, it is because the content of that wire can be pwede na siya ipatimbang sa Bisaya pa sa mua. Ipatimbang na siya pila may kilo biting mahal lang sa mga kwarta. Okay? Ductility. So that is when we say ductile, no? It can be stretched into thin wires. Another property of metal is that they are malleable. So when we say malleable, they can be pounded into thin sheets. Ano pong ibig sabihin, sir? Kung meron kang metal, no, 'di ba? Alam na siguro kilala niyo si Panday. Kilala niyo si Fernando Po Jr., tama?
Yes
Yes,
po.
sir.
Sir,
Ay, kilalang kilala natin, no? Although siguro sa panahon niya patay na siya. Pero what I mean is that, alam naman natin yung istorya ng Panday, no? Ano yung ba yung ginagamit sa Panday? Itak? Parang
Yes.
itak ba yung
Sir.
ginagamit? No? Very simple. Itak talaga yung term, no? Parang nasa yung terminong itak parang nasa panahon tayo nila Lapu-Lapu at Maggialan, no? Remember, uh, yung itak at saka yung sword na tinatawag, they are made up of metals, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Oh, they are made up of metals, 'di ba? Yung ginagawa ng mga ano yung tawag sa gumagawa niyan? Blacksmith. No, mga blacksmith in English, no? 'Di ba kung titingnan niyo pinapainit yung metal at saka gikuan siya, gidukdok siya hammer. So again, that is the property of metal, malleability or malleable. It can be pounded into thin sheets. And then of course, since they are metals, they actually subjected or they can be subjected to corrosion. It corrodes. So ibig sabihin, pag sinasabing it corrodes, ibig sabihin mutaya siya or rust. Because your metal, if a metal will be reacted to water and oxygen, that could actually make your rust, no, kanang imong rust. Okay, and then solid at room temperature. At room temperature, our metals na nasa periodic table natin, they are solid. No, like for example, our chromium, our zinc, our iron, in room temperature, they are solid except mercury. So Hg, pag sinasabing Hg, that is mercury. Because in room temperature, our mercury is in liquid form. Nakakita na ba lahat ng mercury? Nakita ba? Di yung
yes,
mercury
sir.
drug, ha? No. Yung iba, no, actually the oldest version of our thermometer, no, kanang imong isuksok mo sa imong ilok diha pag yung iba hindi ko talaga malaman yung mga nurse, no, kasi yung iba yung thermometer nilalagay sa kilikili, yung iba sa bibig. Para kang kumakain ng kilikili, ganyan, no? So kailangan talagang i-check, no. You really have to ask the nurse kung saan nilagay yung thermometer sa kilikili ba, no? Shock na lang ka ni mahong ilok imong bakba. Okay? So the the typical or di ba? The typical thermometer, kung nakakita kayo ng laboratory thermometer, you would notice na merong parang puti or gray sa gitna. Yun yung tinitingnan natin kung tataas ba siya or bababa, no, kung nakita. The content of that is actually mercury. Binago na yan, no, yung mga bagong version ng mga thermometers ngayon, binago na yan, instead of mercury, ang nilagay alcohol. Kasi yung mercury kasi pag nababasag yung thermometer natin, and it yes it if it could be digested, that could kill actually the person, no, because toxic kayo ang imuhang mercury if you will be intake into a very large amount, something like that. Okay. And the next one, the properties of your non-metals, of course, the opposite of your metals, no? They are very poor conductors of heat and electricity, no? Very good example is sulfur. They are not ductile or malleable. So, ano ibig sabihin ng not ductile or malleable? Ibig sabihin, pag ductile, hindi siya pwedeng maging wire, no? Kasi nga, mapulpog mo na siya, non-metals good siya. Examples of our non-metals, gas and liquid. O, di ba? May popokpokin mo yung gas at saka liquid na ano yan. And then dull. When we say dull, hindi yung dull na, kasi sa dictionary ha, pag sinasabi kasi nating dull, that is actually an adjective pertaining to a person that is slow learner. Parang very slow pag yun kaayo na learner. So dull. In here, when we say dull, not shiny. Ano siya. That is the other term of dull, no? Not shiny. And then they are mostly gases. No? Mas marami yung gases compared sa liquid kasi yung liquid lang, in liquid form lang natin sa predictable lang natin sa pagkakaalim ko, meron tayong mercury, of course. Ay, sorry. Meron tayong uh, bromine, no, in liquid form. Okay? And then solid nonmetals are brittle and break easily. Ibig sabihin, yung mga solid daw in form na nonmetals, they are brittle. Meaning say madali siyang mabiak. No? Dali na kayo siya mapulpog sa Bisaya pa. Okay? Brittle and break easily. Now, if we have metals and nonmetals, we also have here the metalloids. So ito yung sinabi ko that we have the properties of both metals and nonmetals. Very good example of metalloids is your silicon. Okay? Hindi ito yung silicon na inilalagay sa dibdib no para lumaki, ha? Metal kasi nakakatakot naman kung ito yung ilagay na, di ba? Yung silicon, of course, that is also silicon, magyapon siya. Pero this is the in room temperature, lahi po ni siya nga silicon, no? Tingnan mo yan, yan mo ilagay sa dibdib mo na ano ba yan? So, yung I think sa mga mangingisda, yung sa mga ngisda, I think nakita ko na to, ginagamit ito sa asa nga part sa kanang mangingisda, the silicon. Okay? So solids,
Yes, sir.
oh yeah, yes, di ba no, Lynn Shane? Solids, I do not know sa Bisaya, tingga, masiguro Bisaya ani.
Yes, sir. Tingga.
O tingga, di ba? Okay, dili tong kanang anak daw. Katong murag dako niya ba silicon, tingga sa Bisaya niya. Okay. Since your metalloids have properties both metals and nonmetals, meaning to say, ang atong metalloids pwede siyang shiny, pwede pong dili shiny. Okay. And then pwede po siyang mo-conduct siyang electricity, pwede po siyang dili mo-conduct og electricity. Pwede siya mo-conduct og heat, pwede po siya nga dili mo-conduct og heat, nakadepende no. Pero ang point nila is that when it comes to conduction, mas mo-conduct ang metal o electricity o heat compared sa metalloid. So, ubos yung power bali kay. Of course, in between man siya. And then, they are ductile and malleable. So, ano po ibig sabihin again? Pwede silang maging wire, pwede, it can be pounded into thin sheet and then it can be flattened. No? That is what we mean by ductile and then malleable. Okay, so that is for our metalloids. And then, these are the chemical groups of our periodic table. Sir, children, papakita ko lang, we have alkali metals, the group 1A na siya. The next group, chemical group, we have alkaline earth metals. We call it group 2A. Number 3, we have halogens. That is the group 7. Papakita ko yan sa inyo kung saan itong group 1A, 2A, 7. Noble gases, the group 8A. So, papakita ko sa inyo kung saan ito. So, mao ni siya ang part sa itong periodic table. I don't know if we have. Sorry. Okay. So, kini siya. Your alkali metals or the group 1A, these are hydrogen, lithium. Sorry. We have lithium, nitrogen, except for hydrogen, no? By the way, yung hydrogen, hindi siya kasali sa alkali metals. Again, hydrogen is not part of the alkali metals or group 1A, although nasa isang column siya. Sir, bakit po hindi siya kasama? It is because yung hydrogen kasi meron siyang own group. We call it the hydrogen group. No? Na grupo pa siya, siya isa. No? So ang tawag sa kanya hydrogen group. Therefore, hindi siya pwedeng isali sa alkali metals. Because technically, your hydrogen is not a metal. It is actually a gas. No? Therefore, it cannot be included into your alkali metal. So we have here, meaning to say, our alkali metals or group 1A will start with lithium. Please take note, lithium. Next would be sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. And then your alkaline earth metals or the group 2A, sunod na niya nga column, we have beryllium. No? That is Be, beryllium, Mg, magnesium, We have Ca, that is calcium. Sr, that is strontium. We have Ba here, we have barium. And Ra, we have radium. So that is our alkaline earth metals or group 2A. Next, halogens, group 7. Halogens will start with fluorine, chlorine, Br is bromine, iodine, and At is astatine. No? That is our halogens or group 7A. Next group, we have the noble gases. Sir, bakit po sinabing noble? Sa pagkakaintindi ko, our noble gases or the elements included in your noble gases, they are considered to be the very stable elements. Okay, sir, bakit po stable yung nasa group 8A? No? Itawag niyo silang noble gases because they are very stable at some point. I don't know if that is really the reason, no? Very stable. Sir, bakit po sinabing very stable po yung group 8A? Let's before I will give you the idea, let's try to enumerate the noble gases. So the noble gases or group 8A are helium, neon, Ne neon, Ar argon, Kr krypton, Xe xenon, Rn radon. So those are the noble gases belongs again to group 8A. So sir, bakit po stable ang group 8A? Okay. I do not know if you are familiar with the term octet rule. Susulat ko ito sa ating whiteboard. Are you familiar with the term octet rule? Everyone, are you familiar? Natatakot yung iba magsagot ng oo kasi tatanungin ni sir na, bakit? Ano yun? Again. Are you familiar with octet rule?
Yung circle po, sir.
Yes, Almira?
Yung may circle po,
Again. Hindi ko maklaro na napuputol.
yung circle po, parang distribution of, basta yung parang mga peer-peer distribute siya.
Yung pair, yung lone pairs, no? Okay, very good. Children, yeah, that is actually true, no? Si Almira mentioned about the pair. We call it the pairings, no? We call lone pairs, mga ganyan. Um, in chemistry or in our atoms, yung tinatawag natin na octet rule is actually the term octet. When we say octet, when we say that is 8, no? For you to be a very stable atom, dapat moabot ka sa gitawag nato nga 8 or octet rule. Since helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon, they belong to group 8A. Naana sila rason nga nung naana sila sa group 8A, it is because their valence shell nila kay nana siya 8 electrons. Na lang ang idea. And sa chemistry na to, sa atong elements, when we say 8, that is stable. Okay? So ano po ibig sabihin ng stable, sir? If an element is already stable, there could be a big chance that that element will not react anymore. Ako isulat sa whiteboard, will not react anymore. Okay. So ano po ibig sabihin ng will not react anymore? Ibig sabihin, kung ipapares natin itong helium sa ibang element, kung ipapares natin yung neon sa ibang element, there could be a big chance that helium will not react sa tinatawag nating chemical reaction. Kasi nga, ang helium na satisfy niya yung tinatawag natin na octet rule, no? Therefore, wala na gaanong sharing, parang sharing and then giving off of electrons, kumbaga, no? Kasi nga yung chemical reaction natin, nandyan lang yan sa dalawa. Is either we share electrons or we transfer electrons. Parang ganyan. Okay? But for the case of helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon, since they are very stable, Therefore, the transfer and then the sharing of electrons is not possible at some point. Okay? That is why they are very stable na kumbaga, tinatawag natin. Okay? I hope that is clear. I hope you understand the concept. Huh? Okay? I hope you understand the concept, no? Next, next would be the representative elements. Let's try to look at the representative elements kung saan sila. Pag sinabi nating representative elements, ito yung main group elements. Sir, ano po yung main group elements? Papakita ko. And then, main group elements are these. Baka kasi mag-ano tayo, mag-question or sa exam, no? Okay, here. Okay, that one. Sige. Ang main group elements, according to here, the representative elements, or also known as the main group elements, they belong to groups 1A to 8A. Sir, saan po makikita ang groups 1A to 8A? Follow my mouse. 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8A. Therefore, groups 1A to 8A, we call them representative elements or the main group elements. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh, very good. Next would be the transition elements. Kasi nga, baka sa exam, meron tayong pa-enumerate, no? Enumeration. Enumerate the transition elements. Kung saan natin makikita ang transition elements, we call them the group B or the D block transition elements. Saan makikita? Ito yung tinatawag natin na transition elements. Here. Wala sila ang transition elements. The group B. No, kung dito ninyo, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, 7B. So ito yung ating group B or transition elements. Okay. Next, the third one would be the inner transition elements. Ang inner transition, excuse me everyone, excuse me for a while. Okay, so let's continue. So the inner transition elements, ito yung inner transition elements, di ba? Siguro, if you are to look at your periodic table, nagtataka talaga kayo kung ano yung nasa baba, no? Yung nasa baba. So ano kayo yung nasa baba, sir? Late by discover, hindi yan. Tinatawag natin na inner transition metals ito. Sir, ano po yung the other name? The other name, we call it the F block transition elements or the inner transition elements. Okay, so let's review our group elements or the representative elements, group 1A to 8A, and then our transition elements, the group B, our inner transition elements here, nasa baba, we also call it the F block transition elements. Okay, question so far?
None so far, sir.
And so far. Okay. Siguro we will discuss the last topic on chemistry next meeting. That would be on what when would be? Thursday. Okay? So the last topic for chemistry this Thursday would be periodic trends. Again, nasa Google Classroom na natin yung lahat ng handouts. And then, ang gagawin natin would be during the weekend, ano ba ang gusto ninyo pag if ever ba meron tayong matapos natin ma-discuss this Thursday, okay lang ba na mag-exam tayo ng chemistry? O ano ba yung gusto ninyong exam natin sa chemistry? Gawin ba nating two parts or isahin na natin? Magsabot sa ta. Ano yung gusto ninyo?
Depende, sir.
Ano di?
Two parts na lang. Char.
Char, sa two,
Sir,
two parts? Yes,
sir,
sir.
depende sir if mahirap na two parts na. If carry lang na
Okay.
ayun.
Okay, sige. Hindi pa man ako nakagawa ng exam. Kung medyo mabigat siya, kung titingnan, gawin ko siyang two parts. Oh, message ko kayo.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, sige.
Why,
And
sir?
then,
Yes.
yes, the exam, okay lang ba? Matatapos tayo mag-discuss ng chemistry this Thursday. Okay lang ba na yung exam natin for chemistry would be on the weekend?
Yes, sir.
O yung exam natin, Google Form ha. I would like to remind everyone that the exam is on Google Form. Hindi yan mangyayari ng isang araw lang. I will give you the link. Time pressured na siya, children. But ang yung time pressured niya, meron kayong may pakonsuelo yan. Hindi po na siya tuok na kung ano. In a way, the guidelines of the quiz will be detailed natin later no during sa ating pag-exam. Okay, i-discuss ko yung mechanics ng exam next meeting para magkaklaruhan tayo. Okay? Basta ito yung sisiguraduhin ko na yung exam natin hindi siya parang 1.5 hour lang, no? Ibig sabihin, ibibigay ko yung link ng at yung deadline ay mga ilang araw yung deadline, pero nakadepende yan sa inyo kung saang araw kayo mag-take ng exam. Pero by the time you will open the link, the time will start. So yun yung parang, ano ba yan? Sneak peek ng ating exam. Okay? So in a way that the details of the guidelines and the mechanics of our quiz or the exam will be discussed next meeting. Okay? Okay ba yan?
Okay po
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay po.
Okay. Do you have any
Yes
questions?
po, sir.
Do you have any questions? May katanungan?
Wala po.
Okay. If you don't have any questions, children, you can now exit the room and thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless and keep safe. Goodbye, everyone.
God bless you,
Bye sir.
sir.
Bye, sir. Thank you po.
Dapat magtuon nagsugod karon ha bisag magtuon pa karon pa pong Thursday bantay lang gid mga score ani. Ha? Magtuon. Okay. And then of course, do not forget your final tasks, everyone. The deadline is coming. Goodbye, everyone.